everyone. My name is, can you all hear me? Yes, my name is Rachna Chhachhi. I am a mental health, cancer metastasis, and yoga therapist. Uh, Thank you so much. Hearing Dr. Deeksha was very, very enlightening, and I'm here to share my journey and what I have been doing in the last 1.5 decades. And these kind of experiences will help each one of us to understand how we can heal ourselves. I was Vice President Business Development GE Money in 2006 when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I was in extreme pain, I had chronic fatigue, and I always felt feverish. I went to my rheumatologist and my joints had started getting deformed. My knees, ankles and wrists are not supposed to be having any movement because the scans are all destroyed. And my rheumatologist said, you have an incurable condition. Now what happens when we are sitting with somebody who has the solutions for our health and they tell us that this is incurable, just put up with it. And then I was pumped with toxic medications, which is methotrexate, it's a chemotherapy drug, steroids and immunosuppressants. For 1.5 years, I very religiously took the medications, but nothing worked. I was limping, I was bedridden. Our daughter was 9 years old. And in 2008, something just changed in me. I flushed down the toxic medications. I found the path accidentally of nutrition and yoga. And I think I was just lucky that I started feeling better. Within 8 months' time, my clinical markers for rheumatoid arthritis, there are 5 clinical markers for rheumatoid arthritis: C-reactive protein, ESR, anti-CCP, RA factor. They all came out to be negative. That's when I quit my corporate career, changed my line, restudied. I studied nutritional therapy at Oxford, cancer metastasis at Johns Hopkins, got WHO certified in malnutrition, and did my MA yoga, 200-hour teacher training yoga, even with my deformities. I have orthopedic friends and they look at my x-rays and they say, oh, you shouldn't be walking, but it's okay, do what you do. When I had my RA, I also had Hashimoto's. I also had Sjogren's syndrome, and I was clinically depressed. That's what pain does to us. At that point in time, I tried to take my life twice. So, chronic disease is mind-body. It's not sitting in isolation. My joints are not in isolation, and my mind is not sitting here. Anybody knows where the mind is? Which part of the body is the mind? Yes? It's outside the body. Anyone else? So we interchange between the brain and mind, which is not right. Medically, it's not correct because your brain is an organ and your mind is your being, your Atman, which is the one that drives you to have a good quality of life, a great career, the ability to say yes or no, and the strength to do that. I said no. My mind said no to rheumatoid arthritis. And that's where I got the strength from. And that's where I found the path. So what are the things that in the last 15 years, as a clinical practitioner, I treat patients across 27 countries now. Most of my patients are the ones who have been given up, like I was given up. Autoimmune, cancer, CKD are some of my patients who come. And I'm very grateful to say that I have a very good clinical success rate. A lot of my patients are doctors. And when they see the reports tumbling down within a span of 30 days, when the clinical markers, the inflammation markers, antibodies start tumbling down, the cancer markers start coming back in range, That's when their eureka moment happens, and then we have a lot of conversations around how they were not taught this in medical school. And I'm very happy that there is a board certified lifestyle medicine certification. So if you have all not done it, please go ahead and do it. It will help you incorporate holistic healing and get better clinical outcomes for your patients. From my practice, I have seen that the path is simpler. You know, we complicate a lot of things, but the moment we start pausing, slowing down and saying, hey, let me find a solution, the brain starts working and the mind supports the brain. So my top 5, which I have seen every single day, healing people symptomatically, clinically, and for me to stay healed. It's been 17 years that I had my rheumatoid arthritis. But I'm good, I travel, I work, I have a full life, unlike most patients that you would know of any autoimmune condition. So these are my top 5. Number 1, be picky about what you put in your body. Very, very clearly. You know, nutritious food, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains. It's coming out of our ears, right? Everyone talks about it. Yes? No. Be picky about 2 things when you eat. These are generic. What you have to do is be selective. First, eat the right foods, and second, eat less. Okay? Most of us live with chronic inflammation, tiredness, poor sleep quality. You know, you sleep at night for 7-8 hours and you wake up tired. Your eyes are puffy. So we are all living with that chronic inflammation. Just like there are kings and men, there are optimal foods and then less optimal nutritious foods. Each one of us, our guts are weak. Even if you think yours is strong because, you don't experience any issues, it's not true. Most of us who have hidden anxiety and stress have weak guts. You know, we take stress, we store our emotions in our gut. Sometimes we get acidity, bloating, constipation, which also causes headaches. Impact of stress on the gut makes certain optimal foods also not easy to digest. Optimal anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer foods that heal us are all cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, green fresh beans, French beans, broad beans, flat beans, chawli, carrots, our desi gourds, dudhi, torai, tinli, all made with a dash of turmeric and a pinch of black pepper. We all know that spinach is the best, but spinach can cause gut issues in those who experience anxiety. So go slow on spinach. Eat protein, but plant-based protein like peas, nuts, seeds, and high-protein carbohydrates like brown rice, quinoa, and millets. In fruits, stick to papaya because it cleanses your liver and heals your gut, and have an apple a day to keep the doctor away. These foods will heal your gut and your brain. You know, we've all talked about serotonin and dopamine and cortisol. Where are serotonin and cortisol produced? They're produced in your gut, not in your brain, but they impact your brain. Dr. Diksha said the same thing. The same microbiome found in the gut is also found in the brain. So these foods that I spoke about just now, they help us heal. Now top that up as being a picky eater by eating 20% less than your requirement. So how do you figure out that it's 20% less? As per our height and weight, there is a particular amount of calories that we are supposed to consume. You know, it's there everywhere. You can search for it online. Just cut off 20% calories. What does that do? It activates the SIRT1, SIRT1 gene in us, which is our anti-aging gene. It reduces inflammation, it reduces the risk of lifestyle diseases, and it slows down the aging process. Most people today are suffering from diseases much earlier than they are supposed to because they are aging faster even when they are young. Second, move moderately. Physical activity and exercise is wonderful for us, but over-exercise causes oxidative stress. It ages us, it can cause injuries, increase inflammation levels, blocks hormones in women because of which, despite exercising and eating less, women are unable to lose weight. Gentle, moderate, consistent physical exercise like a walk, swim, gentle yoga, not the hot yoga or 100 Surya Namaskars that you see around. Gentle, moderate physical exercise triggers the release of dopamine and serotonin, which improves mood, balance, strengthens the joints, reduces sugar levels, reduces weight, releases bad lipids, increases circulation, strengthens the heart, and brings your inflammation markers crashing down. It's particularly helpful for people who deal with anxiety and panic attacks. So if you've had a stressful day at work, just going for a walk will release most of the stress instead of reaching out for that drink or an extra helping of food to reward yourself. Just walk. Third, oxygenate. Without oxygen, death is inevitable, and with compromised oxygen, longevity is compromised. I think the PTSD of the pandemic is still there with all of us, and we mourn all those we lost because of lack of oxygen cylinders. But all the spirometers we purchased during the pandemic to put our finger on and test our oxygen levels, you remember? How many of us had those? Everyone. They're lying, gathering dust somewhere. But just deep diaphragmatic breathing and alternate nostril breathing helps us oxygenate, and our organs start getting healthier, especially our heart. As per Mayo Clinic research, it just takes a few minutes of alternate nostril breathing or Anulom Vilom Pranayam to clinically reduce C-reactive protein, the inflammation marker that is high in heart disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune conditions, and cancer. Who doesn't want to prevent the risk of cancer? So let's just breathe deeply. In my cancer healing, oxygenating the mind and body is 50% of my healing, and the other 50% is nutrition. The delightful part about doing breathing exercises is that our response to stress starts changing. Our brain and mind start calming down, and the same things that were bothering us no longer impact us. And then what happens? The brain stops sending that signal of anxiety to the gut, and the excess acid release because of this vicious cycle of the brain sending that signal stops. This gives a chance to the gut to start healing itself. Absorb more nutrients from optimal food, and also helps you get a restful sleep. If your gut is not calm, your sleep is impacted. Suddenly, because of all this, your immunity starts improving and your moods get better. So take long, deep breaths every day, 3 times a day. 4, sleep to restore. Lack of sleep or poor sleep quality is associated with increase in sugar levels, hormonal disruptions, increased weight, increased pain and fatigue, poor mental health, and poor concentration levels. Sleep is the universe's way of healing us. But not too many of us sleep 8 to 9 hours, which is required. How many people sleep for 8 hours plus? I do. Okay, very few hands. Please, this is the way you will stay younger, you will avoid disease, you will reduce inflammation levels, and keep your hormones calm. Just when you sleep 8 hours a day, your body will repair, your mind will become calmer, your brain will get refreshed when you wake up. That's when you will greet a new day with enthusiasm and not fatigue. Many of us are unable to fall asleep or wake up in the middle of the night and toss and turn. At that time, just sit up and do the alternate nostril breathing I spoke about, Anulom Vilom, because it will reduce your anxiety and calm your mind and brain and gut. And Within a few minutes, you will start dozing off again. 5, talk to someone. Please. These are the first 4 things that I talked about are the self-nurturing things. The 5th one is your emotional release. Seek out a therapist, seek out a counselor, and talk to them. Because you need to have the emotional release and you also need to have the guidance on how to channelize your emotions. These are simple connectors that we have failed to incorporate in our daily lives and complicate our own mind-body healing. When we self-nurture the right way, there's no space for disease in the human mind and body. I am a living example, and so are my patients. The ability of the body to heal itself is far greater than we have ever been made to believe. The path is simpler than we thought. Let's uncomplicate. Let's unhurry to heal from whatever they say you can't heal from. I did. Thank you.